There was once a young man standing on the edge of giving up. His hands were rough from endless work, his back ached from carrying burdens that felt too heavy for his shoulders, and his heart was weary from fighting battles no one else could see. He believed he was broken, invisible, and forgotten by the world. But what he did not yet understand was this: the very pain that pressed on his spirit, the very weight that seemed to drag him into the dust, was shaping him into someone stronger, kinder, and more powerful than he could imagine. And in this story of one man's struggle lies the story of all of us, because we all know what it is to hurt, to stumble, and to wonder if the struggle is worth it. Think back to a moment in your life when you felt like the mountain in front of you was too high, when every step forward burned with exhaustion, and the world seemed deaf to your cries. Maybe it was a night when bills piled up higher than your hope. Maybe it was the day you lost someone you loved so deeply you felt your chest crack open. Maybe it was in the quiet of your own mind, where doubt whispered that you were not enough. In those moments, the pain feels endless. It feels like it will break us. But here's the secret: pain does not come to destroy us. Pain comes to teach us, to mold us, and to prepare us for a future we cannot yet see. Let me tell you about a nurse I once met. Her name was Anna. She worked in the emergency ward of a hospital in a small town. Night after night, she stood on her feet for 12 hours, comforting strangers, holding hands of the broken, and whispering courage into the ears of the frightened. What most didn't know was that just months before, she had lost her own daughter in a tragic accident. Every step she took into that hospital was a step against her own grief. Every smile she gave was wrestled out of a heart still aching. One night, after resuscitating a little boy who had nearly drowned, she collapsed in the break room, tears pouring down her face. A younger nurse walked in and asked, "Anna, how do you do it? How do you keep giving when you've lost so much?" And Anna, wiping her tears, said something that has stayed with me ever since: "Because I know what it feels like to hurt, I will never let someone feel alone in their pain. The pain I feel today has become the strength I give to others tomorrow." That is the transformation of pain. It does not only make us stronger for ourselves, it equips us to lift others. When you endure heartbreak, you learn tenderness. When you endure struggle, you learn resilience. When you endure loneliness, you learn how precious companionship truly is. Pain strips away our illusions and reveals the deep, raw humanity we all share. And sometimes, in our darkest valleys, we discover the spark of compassion that can light someone else's way. But life rarely shows us this truth immediately. We want quick answers, instant relief, immediate healing. We resist the process, forgetting that diamonds are formed under pressure, that muscles grow only by tearing and repairing, that oak trees sink their roots deepest when the storms rage above them. I once met a former soldier who returned from war with scars inside and out. For years, he drowned himself in silence, refusing to speak of the horrors he had seen. But one day, while walking through a park, he saw a boy sitting alone on a bench, crying. Something in that boy's quiet despair cracked open the soldier's hardened shell. He sat down, shared his story, and for the first time, he felt his pain transforming, not into chains that bound him, but into wings that allowed him to help another. Today, that soldier runs a support group for veterans and young people alike, turning trauma into testimony. And maybe that's the most unexpected turn of all. The realization that your pain, the thing you most wish to escape, is the very thing that gives you the power to heal others. Pain makes us bridges, connecting one hurting soul to another. Think of every great act of kindness in history. It was born out of someone's decision to let their suffering teach them love instead of bitterness. But here's the challenge: in the middle of the storm, we forget this truth. We think our story ends in the valley. Yet every valley is only a passage, not a destination. The pain you feel today is not the end, it is the beginning of a new strength, a new compassion, a new chapter that you cannot yet see. If you feel broken now, I promise you, those cracks are where the light will shine through. Let me paint you one last picture. Imagine a young single mother, exhausted from 2 jobs, coming home late at night, her feet swollen, her heart heavy. She walks into the small apartment where her child waits, smiling despite the hunger and the cold. She kneels by that child's bed, kisses his forehead, and whispers, "One day, all this will be worth it." That mother's pain is not wasted. Every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every tear she swallows in the dark is carving strength into her soul. Years later, when her son graduates, when he looks at her with pride and gratitude, she will know, the pain she felt then became the strength that carried both of them forward. So tonight, if you feel weary, if you feel unseen, if the weight on your shoulders is unbearable, hold on. Do not despise your pain. Let it teach you, let it refine you, let it prepare you. Because the pain you feel today is not punishment, it is preparation. And tomorrow, when you stand taller, when you love deeper, when you inspire someone else who is struggling, you will realize that your suffering has been transformed into strength. My friends, the world does not need perfection, it needs your scars, your lessons, your resilience. It needs your story of falling and rising again. It needs your heart that knows how to break and still choose kindness. And so I leave you with this truth, etched not in theory but in the lives of countless souls who have walked through fire and emerged as light-bearers. The pain you feel today will be your strength tomorrow. Carry it with courage. Share it with compassion. And let it remind you that even in your darkest hour, you are becoming someone the world desperately needs.